On page 80, we're starting a new lesson. As you can see, our new lessons always start with a new major scale fingering in the second section. Page 60 was fingering type 1, page 70 was fingering type 1A, and on page 80, we're doing fingering type 2, the key of G. So far, we are in just the second position, and we learned the C scale, fingering type 1, F scale, fingering type 1A, and the G scale, fingering type 2 in the second position. I will play all the repeats on this first exercise with you. This is the first exercise, G major on page 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fingering type 2, G major scale in second position. If you notice, the root of this scale is on the 6th string with your second finger. We can categorize these scales by not only the names of them, but where the roots are. C scale, fingering type 1 was 5th string, second finger. Fingering type 1A, F scale in second position, is 6th string with a finger stretch, first finger. And fingering type 2 is second finger, 6th string. G major scale, all the notes are in second position. It's a C major scale with an F sharp. So every time that we stretch for the F natural in the key of C, we don't have to do that now. F sharps are in the second position. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. F sharp, G. F sharp, G. Again, the way to practice this first exercise is to review and practice the first 2 lines. So you're looking at each note while you're playing it, and it's the G scale. Then the next line, you have the chromatics between D and E. You have G, A, B, C, D. Slide D sharp, E, F sharp, G. D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G. E flat or D sharp. To get the E flat, you're coming down, so you stretch with your fourth finger. Again, it's D, D sharp, E, E, E flat, D. And the last two measures, you should practice that on its own. D held for 2 beats while you play. D, then C with F sharp, right? E, and then the C and F sharp with the C an octave below. Then here's the eighth note study at the bottom of page 80 into the first 3 lines on page 81. So it's the exercise, eighth note study in the key of G. I will take repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have to practice the areas where you have all these chromatic approaches. In the first measure you have in the third measure, in the first measure of the second page on page 81, third measure of the first line on 81. First measure of the second line on 81. Third measure of that line. First measure of the last line on page 81 of this exercise. Third measure of that line. If you notice, we have the scale starting on the root, then the scale starting on the second degree, A, with the chromatic approach, B, the third of the fourth, C, the fifth, D, the sixth, E, the seventh, and the octave root. Practice that slowly at first and then get it steady. See if you can play it through first once very slowly, then speed it up and play it again a little faster and trying to keep it as clean. Then put the metronome down to a slower tempo and try and do it with the repeat and build up stamina that way. Every time you're playing this piece, make sure you're looking at the notes and relating to what the notes are. Remember, the more you're playing in this position, no matter what key, you're going to know the notes better and better. Next is the arpeggio study. The way I'm going to play it, as I have in the past 2 arpeggio studies. This is the first time I'm going to use the picking that is notated, and then with the repeat I'm going to use alternate picking. Also, just a reminder, when you have notes on different strings, consecutive notes on different strings played by the same finger, make sure you roll the finger. Here's the 4th finger playing D and G. It's not, it's, here are the notes E and C in the next measure. Notice I don't lift my finger up. D and G. Unfortunately, they're with the 4th finger, so it takes some effort to press on those so you get a good sound, but it will strengthen that 4th finger so that you can have more dexterity and more strength in that arpeggio study. 1, 2, 3. I know it takes a while for it to come out perfectly, but just keep on playing it. Practice some measures by themselves. Practice the G major arpeggio to the A minor, to the D7, to G major, to C, to G, D7. If you have to, play them as quarter notes. Just get it so that you are doing them smoothly and playing with legato.